right. Hello, 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 everybody. It is finally starting to get cold here in Chicago, which means in about 3 months, I'm going to be begging for unaged cane juice rum just to get some light and freshness in my life. But right now, I really want something with a little bit of weight behind it. So we're gonna do a week's worth of peated whiskeys. And I know that's a subject that has been well covered by literally every other whiskey channel. And I mean, peat is a little bit passé these days. Today we're all about, what are we all about? Worm tubs mostly, I guess. That's coming up today. But I wanted to do a week of peated whiskeys because I like them. They're delicious, and they're one of the things, along with apple brandy, that I really gravitate towards as the weather starts to get cold. Once we're in the middle of winter, things are a little different. But when it's starting to get cold, when it's getting there, peat. But, I don't want to do Isla. I don't want to do the obvious choices because we're all like sick of the piles of limited releases like that. That's overexposed. No, I want to talk about Mainland peated whiskeys, and I've done this before in the past. I've done some videos on this, but Mainland peat is just a very fun and different kind of thing. So I'm gonna do a week of those. Maybe talk about some distilleries you're probably well aware of, but you haven't really thought of it in a long, long time, if at all. But today we're going to do Edradour. And we're going to do two different bottles, side by side, and just, see how the comparison goes. These are very, very similar. This bottle is a 2006, bottled in 2017. It's a Binny's pick, actually. I've had this. This is from the archive. It's 10 years old, and it was matured in a second fill sherry's hogshead. This one is from Fine Drams, which is a European online retailer. It's also a bottling for the Scotch subreddit, r Scotch. And this was distilled in 2009, bottled 2020, so 11 years old. So kind of similar on the stats. Both, this is a first fill sherry butt, so larger cask, but it's first fill, so a little bit different. Sherried Edradour. The difference? This one is unpeated, and this one is peated. This is a Ballechin. And so this should be a fun little comparison. Peated versus unpeated versions of the same malt. I've already done this video on a different distiller. Never mind. I want to do this. I really want to taste these bottles out because Edradour and Ballechin are fun. Like, it's a tiny distillery, and as long as we're talking about worm tubs, so it's got that little extra bit of grunge to it. Anyways, let's duck into these. We're going to start with the Binny's pick. This again is a Signatory. Signatory owns Edradour Distillery, so you see a lot of independent bottlings of Edradour under Signatory. And even the Ultimate here, which is the other bottle, are basically sourcing from Signatory stocks, so that's that story. Anyway, I think the Signatory bottlings of Edradour are just like kind of off-profile bottlings of their stuff. And this one was distilled, in October 2nd, 2006, bottled September 4th, 2017, second fill sherry hogshead, 59.6% alcohol by volume. You're going to have to be patient with me today. Let's see what we got. On the nose. Dense, complicated, a thinking person's malt. It's very winey. It actually reminds me a little bit of like an old Bordeaux Blanc. It's somewhere between old Bordeaux Blanc and like old Sauterne. It's in that territory. So we're getting like apricot jam. marmalade, orange marmalade, some white flowers, walnuts, like kind of old coffee, like a coffee pot you left sitting out for like half the day. There's even a little like forestiness. There's a little bit of like a pine resin thing going on. Tobacco, like a Carolina bright leaf tobacco, like a really kind of green tobacco. Black pepper, golden raisins, and sultanas. Something metallic, like an old rust kind of note. But then, like, you're getting like some cereal kinds of stuff, like some Frosted Flakes. Frosted Flakes, an incredibly slept-on cereal. Just like, I mean, if you're tired of like Captain Crunch and your Cinnamon Toast Crunch and your Fruit Loops and all your like much more interesting cereals, like Frosted Flakes will never let you down. It's simple, but it just works. Frosted Flakes, but also like almost a confectionery thing, like a powdered donut. A little touch of basil in here too, kind of with the white flour sort of thing. On the palate, this is kind of why a lot of Highland whiskies are just fun. Like fun is the wrong word. Like it's very lean. This Edradour. It's very like, it's delicate. It's precise. It's fingertippy. It's like driving a Lotus. After you've been used to muscle cars or something like that. Isla muscle cars. Similar story to what's on the nose. So golden raisins, apricots, lots of dried fruit, marmalade. But then there's a little bit of peach going on as well, like some what is that? What are the plums that are like green? Help me out here. Green plums. The green plums. But also Mirabelle plums. There's some pear, black pepper, just lots of little things going on. Basil, clove, walnut again. I mean, this is a very, very good whiskey, but it's also like a thinker. Like, this is not one you just kind of like come home after work and slug this into a glass and just toss it back while you're watching, Netflix. This is, you got to concentrate on what this is doing. More sherry elements kind of coming through now that I'm paying some more attention. Tobacco, but it's like almost Virginia tobacco, like different kinds of Virginia tobacco. A little bit of stoved, but also a little bit of like more fresh Virginia. Fig, that pine resin thing. But even like some old mushrooms. And the old coffee thing, that coffee nuttiness thing, that's in play. That metallic rust thing, that's in play. And yeah, the Frosted Flakes are still there. I don't know. Like, I was kind of expecting the Ballechin to kind of run this over a little bit, and this is pretty darn good. So that's a good start to this. Let's give this some water, and we'll come back to it. 3, 4. It's 59%. It's going to take at least 4. We'll do 5. And moving on. Ballechin. 2009, 11-year-old. Cask 180 for our Scotch and Fine Drams. Let's see. Cask strength. First fill sherry butt. And yeah, so this is kind of the peated version of this, basically. It's a little bit darker too, but I mean, it's first fill. Makes Here we go. Okay. Right off the bat, like chocolate fudgy Mainland peat. This is a Mainland peat thing. Like, it can get fudgy on you. And sometimes it's more like a confectioner's fudge where it's just kind of vanilla-y. But vanilla and sugar and butter. But it's, in this case, we're bringing the chocolate along with it. So it's chocolate fudge wrapped in peat, and there's none of that kind of like nice, clean maritime element. There's none of the medicinal element to this either. But there's a little bit of like a barnyardy thing. Yeah, it smells a little bit like there's a farm right down the road with some horses and cows and llamas and chickens running around. And you're just getting a little whiff of that goodness. I mean, it's funny because as I start to name notes off of this, it's going to sound a lot like what the Edradour was doing. But the addition of that peaty element, it feels like it changes the weight on this, just the direction it's going. So yeah, like chocolate orange, old sauterne, walnut, black pepper, caramel, coffee. No, coffee grinds more so than like coffee. Just like grunge. There's a grungy factor to this. Clove, cardamom, raisin, fig. That floral thing, just like mixed flowers, I guess. That's something floral, mixed flowers. That rust thing. Full Virginia tobacco that go with flake, the absolute legend. If you ever get into pipe smoking, go get yourself some full Virginia flake. Do yourself a favor. It's an absolute pain to live with and pack and keep to the proper humidity, but you nail it and you will be rewarded. There's like a peaty oatmeal thing happening. That donut thing is still here too. Like a peaty donut. Let's go with that. On the palate. Same kind of story. Like, I could name off like a lot of the terms I was using on the Edradour, but it's so dirty and just grungy and peaty. And if you are into that style, as I am, a lot of the time, especially in fall, like, this is very hedonistic. It's just delicious. So what are you getting? You're getting grungy Mainland peat. You're getting topsoil, dark grainy chocolate. Coffee grinds, dark chocolate orange, toffee, walnut, sauterne again, fig, sultana, black pepper, clove, cardamom. There is a tobacco thing, but it's not Virginia. It's almost more like a Maduro cigar, but not like proper Maduro. This is like an $8 Maduro cigar that isn't really the same thing, but nice in this context. The rust thing is still there. White flowers. That's weird. The white flowers are back. I was getting more white flowers on this. Just like a campy, like a campfire ash kind of thing. And a very long finish. The peaty, fudgy thing just kind of holds for a long time. Yep, I mean, this is kind of what I was expecting from a sherried Ballechin, and here we are. delicious. All right, let's give this a squirt of water or two. 2, 3, 4, 5. No, I think that's enough water. I'm going to trust myself. Okay, let's go back through these. Back to the Edradour. On the nose. Yeah, God. I gotta say, like this little Edradour, this unpeated Ballechin, if you want to think of it like that, this is kind of stepping up a little bit. It's so intensely like winey, like it's like grapey and delicious. It smells, yeah, like that donut thing is coming through now, like, but there's also like a strawberry element, like, so like almost like donut with strawberry filling, but wine. I don't know if that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it's just a really lovely marriage of like fruit and, if anything, the water has brought out the fruit more than anything. Fruit and like coffee, nutty, sherry stuff, and little hints of green and that kind of confectionery note. It's very nice. These are both really good. I like this. It's elegant. It's beautiful. It's poetic. It's peppery. It's just, for me, like darn close to. I mean, not score wise, but in terms of like the style wise, this is darn close to a textbook perfect Highland whiskey. I mean, it's so fruity and outgoing and beautiful, but kind of lean and like edgy and nervous at the same time. Yeah, water brings out like the fruit and the pepper, which I'm really enjoying. This is darn good. If you're shopping around and you spot yourself in a sherried Edradour, yeah, I would recommend this. Score wise, we're not getting into the high 80s, but we're darn close. I just like this dial. 86 plus. Let's give it an 86 plus. This is very good. All right, let's move on. See what the Ballechin can say. On the nose, now that it's got some water. Ooh. It's got a little bit more pepper to it. Not really a whole lot of change. Actually, you know what? It's now throwing a little bit of like a wet dog kind of thing at me. Yeah, absolutely. There's a little bit of, or maybe that's the barnyard note from before, but now it's more like stinky wet dog. Yeah, this is fun. It's a hedonistic peat bomb with brain. Like, it's delicious. It's absolutely scratching your happy place. If your happy place is, I want, peat and a lot of kind of sweetie shop cask influence. But there's depth there. Like, there's absolutely some depth there. sort of the Christmas Jones of peated whiskeys, if you like. Christmas Jones, incredibly underrated Bond girl. I think people were deeply unkind to poor Christmas Jones. Anyways, blame the writing and directing more so than the character. On the palate. Sorry, I shouldn't sexualize my whiskey. It was a good performance. She did fine. Whoever the actress name was. Dirty, tobacco-y, peaty fruit, and I mean, so yeah, it's like a dirty, peaty version of the fruity, coffee, nutty, slightly green, slightly confectionery character we were getting on the Edradour. That's what's going on. It's just, this is like a dirty, peaty version of this, but otherwise kind of very similar. Not as much development in the Ballechin. Not to say it needed it, because it's still darn good. Interesting. I mean, when I sat these two down for scoring and evaluation, I really thought the Ballechin would just blow out the Edradour. I really thought, like, this would be nice, pleasant, delicious, fine, but this would just show it up by a couple more points. And it isn't really turning out that way. These are actually, in terms of quality, pretty darn close. This is definitely more of a thinking whiskey because there's nothing to hang on to and kind of focus the experience. It's just lots of little notes, little details and things you have to kind of work your way through. This has the peat and the grunge to kind of focus everything, but once you kind of appreciated that and gotten over the deliciousness factor, you start to notice it isn't actually really pulling away from the Edradour, which is a year younger. I mean, maybe a hair bit better. I'll give this an 87. Because I think in terms of mouth presence, it's a little bit better still. Just the finish just hangs on that little bit more. But they're darn close. It's just a question of style. Like if you like, aggressive, slightly hedonistic peaters, you will like this. But if you're willing to kind of, I don't know, let your brain work a little bit, this is almost as good. This is very close. So yeah, that's the video. 86 plus for the Edradour, 87 for the Ballechin. Thanks for watching and cheers.